parliamentary election and regional implication. Dear viewers, welcome to this special discussion on Bangladesh 13th parliamentary election and the future of its democracy. Dear viewers, the election is unfolding in an unprecedented political climate. The absence of the country's largest political party, concern over electoral credibility, reports of irregularities, and broader regional implication have made this vote one of the most closely watched development in South Asia. Tonight, will try to examine not only the election itself, but what it means for Bangladesh democratic trajectory, regional stability, 1971 spirit, and international standing. Dear viewers, joining us today, Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, a distinguished diplomat with deep experience in South Asian affairs and India Bangladesh relations. Dear Veena, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
We have Dastagir Jahangir, Special Correspondent, White House, President, ISD, Institute for Strategic Dialogue, and Editor, The Voice. Jahangir, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lopa.
So let's start. I'll start with Veena first. From an Indian diplomatic perspective, how significant is today's election in shaping Bangladesh political future and regional stability for you, given the deep economic, strategic, and security ties between these two countries like Bangladesh and India? How closely New Delhi watching this electoral process or voting process? What is
Certainly, the 13th national parliamentary elections in Bangladesh are significant. But I think we have to go back to July, August 2024, because actually what is happening today is a direct outcome of those events. And I think we have to recognize that what happened in July, August 2024 was not a spontaneous students' uprising. I think that is the first thing to be recognized. It was actually a very well-planned regime change operation. And actually, it is Mohammed Yunus himself who revealed this, because in September 2024, speaking in New York at the Clinton Global Initiative, he said, don't think it happened just like that. It was meticulously designed, he said. And he even introduced the mastermind. The mastermind he introduced was Mahfouz Alam, known to be a member of the Hizb ut-Tahrir, a banned Islamist organization. And Mahfouz Alam was at that time working as special assistant to Dr. Mohammed Yunus, and later on he became advisor, that is minister in the interim regime. So very clearly, this is what it was. It was a very well-planned regime change operation. And since that day, it is the Jamaat-e-Islami that is the de facto power in Bangladesh. They are the power behind Mohammed Yunus. They are the power who are telling him what to do. Behind the Jamaat-e-Islami is Pakistan, and Pakistan has a direct link always with Jamaat-e-Islami, even before 1971, and I would say since the formation of Jamaat-e-Islami in 1941. And behind Pakistan are the Western powers. So I think that this linkage has to be seen very clearly, because we've seen that since July, August 1971, it is these Western powers, certain High Commissioner of a very big country is really like the Viceroy for the last 18 months in Bangladesh. It's amazing to see that. And it's amazing to see the people of Bangladesh, actually accepting this, because it's something that they have been very reluctant to at any time accept on any other occasion or any other country. And then when Dr. Mohammed Yunus position as the chief advisor of the interim regime, the first uh, first move was, we don't want elections. 4 years, we want reforms, and elections after reforms. That was the very first move of the Mohammad Yunus regime, and they started this process of reform. Actually, when the Mohammad Yunus regime was sworn in as an interim regime, there was no provision. They were sworn in on the Bangladesh constitution, and at that time in the Bangladesh constitution, there was no provision for an interim regime. So from the beginning, it has been an unconstitutional, illegitimate regime. And they said, we want reforms. They started the Constitutional Reform Commission. They had reforms for the constitution, for the bureaucracy, for the police, for the judiciary. And of course, the political parties did not like it. And they wanted to have early elections. So they, after great pressure, the elections were declared in February, today, 12th of February, as we speak. And not only that, but the Awami League activities were banned in Bangladesh. Again, completely unconstitutional, no grounds at all, describing it as a terrorist organization. This is completely unprecedented. Even in Pakistan, if I may say so, when Imran Khan was in jail and the elections were held, his party people were allowed to stand even as independents, and they won a lot of seats as well. In Sri Lanka, similarly, there was a color
And
revolution.
Nepal.
Yeah, that's right. Nepal. So all these countries, they're respecting democratic norms. But why in Bangladesh? I would say that maybe the Jamaat-e-Islami fears the Awami League as its only competitor, because in Bangladesh there are only two cadre-based political organizations: the Jamaat-e-Islami and the Awami League. So they feel that they can conquer any other organization, but not the Awami League, and so they banned it. So I think that is one of the biggest lacunae in the elections that are ongoing in Bangladesh, the biggest lacunae, because the same Western countries who talk about democracy and human rights and participatory elections, the same High Commissioner I told you about in 2024, that High Commissioner was still there when Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina held the last election, and she was, telling everybody, "Oh, these elections I don't accept; they're not participatory. BNP is not there." Of course, the Awami League had not banned the BNP, but the BNP had chosen not to take
Chose
part.
not to
Yes, but
participate.
still, there was this hue and cry. And today, when the Awami League is being banned, all these governments have what I described in my article yesterday as mute acquiescence. They just are.
Negotiations.
And in fact, they're giving a new definition of inclusivity. The German delegation the other day said, "Oh, no, no, inclusivity doesn't mean all political parties, it means all the people." And there
All the
again,
people, religion, ethnicity, these and that.
so this is
Yes.
a complete travesty of democracy, I would say. Look at the way that the journalists are in jail. Jamaat-e-Islami and Dr. Mohammed Yunus, to control the media, have completely changed the media environment in Bangladesh. And I know Mr. Jahangir is there, and you will know that media freedom is very important for all of us in South Asia. Very dynamic, very liberal media. And they used to blame Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, saying, "Oh, what is this DSA, Digital Security Act, etc." And now look, and the journalists have been thrown into jail, sometimes on murder charges, no FIR, no bail, no trial, nothing. And boardrooms have been taken over, media houses are under threat. It's terrible, but nobody in the West is saying anything. What about Reporters Sans Frontières, who are supposed to be everywhere and looking at media everywhere? They're quiet. So I'm really quite amazed at this situation. That's why these elections really are not really an election, it's more of a selection, I think, because it's a prefixed game. We can talk about that in a little while, but it's a completely prefixed game. And there are many options, but maybe I'll stop at this point and answer later.
Okay. Okay. So moving forward to like Dastagir Jahangir, do you want to add something? Because you are in Washington, D.C., and then you are the correspondent. So actually, it's true. Nobody's saying anything because, like a 1.5 month, well, like a 1.5 year ago, we witnessed so many things, so many noise from US and Europe that there is no, like this election is faulty, 14, 18, and 24. All were faulty, but now everybody's speaking out. So, what is your like observation on that? What do you want to say?
Thank you so much. I was carefully listening. Miss Ambassador was explaining the situation, and as an ambassador, she explained it also that this is not a fair game, and US 5 Congress member, 23rd of December, they wrote a letter to Dr. Yunus also, that 2018 and 2024 election, our State Department told it is not fair. So do not ban any political party or parties. So we cannot call election without participation. That is very clear. But also there is a big noise last week in just 2 days ago in Washington, D.C., one organized by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, another organized by Hindu activists, three or I think more than three organizations.
These actions, right?
Yes. And there was a congressional briefing on that. So if you, Ms. Lopa, if you let me share Michael Rubin, who had told about Bangladesh election and what is the interference of Pakistan there, I want to share this. Can I?
Please, go ahead.
We are naive to believe that this is, again, only about Bangladesh. This is about those in Islamabad who don't see and don't recognize Bangladesh. What they see is East Pakistan. Now, we see this because the Pakistani government has agreed to fund the campaign of the student-led National Citizens Party, which is an alliance with Jamaat-e-Islami. That's something which has been circulating around for some time. It hasn't made the front page of the New York Times or the Washington Post now, but the evidence with regard to Pakistani funding of the National Citizen Party is rock.
All right. So some technical difficulties, this is a technical glitch.
So you can explain.
Yeah, the simple way to say that also he was the keynote speaker again on Capitol Hill last Monday and repeated the same thing. And I had an opportunity to ask him the same question again, that can you make a short comment? Do you think the Jamaat Islami and NCP funded by Pakistan or whatever, Turkey and so many other international players, do you think that Jamaat Islami is a democratic political party? He told, I mean it. It's a terrorist organization. I have this video record online. So in that sense, the election, whatever is going on in this time in Bangladesh, that is a pre-organized, or you can say this is a sham election that has no international recognition even before election. Like our special guest here, Ambassador Veena is telling same thing. When an ambassador say that it has no international recognition, that means it's a failed election. Now, question is that, is this failed election the pre-planned, they have the result, who will be in the power, how many seats will get which party, NCP, a new party, and they don't have any leadership at all. I mean, there should be some leader for political parties. If we go back in 1971, we see Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is surrounded by recognized students leader, and until now they are recognized and respected by even their haters. So in this situation, NCP, they do not have anybody. These are some street boys. Definitely these are some street boys. And other than that, Jamaat Islami is a terrorist organization. I will repeat what Michael Rubin said because it is already documented. And third, BNP is a second largest political party in Bangladesh. But I would like to say here, I wish Tariq Zia will listen that his party was crying for 17 long years for an election, inclusive election, under a neutral, independent, whatever government they say. But what they are doing right now, This government is unconstitutional. We have no provision in, as ambassador told, and we know our constitution is valid, is not voided, and there is no provision of this government. So it is an illegal government. Under this illegal government, then second step, the largest political party not only in Bangladesh, in East Asia or in whole Asia, the oldest party. And historically, this party led our struggle for independence by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Awami League. So, what is the reason that this party is banned and Tariq Zia is attending or contesting in this election? So their 17 years cry was not cry. Everybody, this meticulously designed people, they say Sheikh Hasina is monster, Sheikh Hasina is this, we cannot speak. But we know now we can compare what was the time when Sheikh Hasina, everybody could speak out, everybody could say what they want. Even Dr. Yunus, he was telling all the lies through the media. So this is really a shame election, and it has no international recognition, as I understand. But I want to ask, if I may, Ms. Lopa, to our
Yes, sure.
ambassador Veena Sethi. My understanding is that when PM Modi was visiting last year White House, I was there, and Prime Minister Modi was telling in Hindi that cross-border Ugrabad we will not tolerate. It does mean that in cross-border, the word he was using, Ugrabad, that's why I'm telling Ugrabad, that I was feeling that this is when Bangladesh under Sheikh Hasina for long 17 years, she controlled any kind of extremism, including Ulfa, Anup Chetia, and so many things. So Dr. Yunus came and threatening and doing everything against India, getting all the helps from Pakistan. Why until India has no visible or remarkable action against Dr. Yunus? If I may ask you.
Well, let me say quite clearly, the government has exercised a great deal of strategic restraint in responding to what is happening in Bangladesh. And for the reason for that is that I think the government has all wanted to continue. We see our relationship with Bangladesh as a people-to-people relationship. And we want that there should be the representation and full democracy in Bangladesh. That is why, if you recall, on the very first day, on the 8th of August 2024, when Prime Minister Modi sent his message of felicitations to Dr. Yunus, he said that we are willing to continue the economic cooperation that we had set up. That's the first point. But we already saw that in those very 4 days between 5th of August, when Sheikh Hasina left the country, and 8th of August, when Dr. Yunus became the interim regime chief, the amount of violence that had started, the killing of the Awami Leaguers and the killing of the minorities, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Christians, the Sufis, and Ahmadiyya. So Prime Minister Modi mentioned about that as well in his message. So I'm trying to say that we are very concerned about what is happening in Bangladesh, but we are very clear that we want democracy to return to Bangladesh. And we are, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is in India. She's been talking to her people from India. So there is a complete understanding. We want there to be a full democracy in Bangladesh. And we have explained it to Dr. Yunus, but we know that Muhammad Yunus, at the behest of Pakistan and his own feelings and others, he's been taking every step to destroy the pattern of cooperation that was set up under the 15 years of Sheikh Hasina. And I always say, and you mentioned the question about terrorists from the Northeast, that when I was there and Khaleda Zia was the Prime Minister, the biggest issue between India and Bangladesh was the security issue. Bangladesh government's consistent support to Northeast Indian terrorist groups, and they're having camps in Bangladesh and so on. The moment Sheikh Hasina came to power, she said, I'm going to respect India's security red lines. And, we had 15 years of peace and development in the Northeast. And we had 15 years of economic prosperity in Bangladesh, 6.5 to 7% growth rate every year. And Bangladesh is proud to be ready to graduate out of the least developed country status. All that happened. And we very much are wanting to continue this. But Bangladesh knows, the leadership knows that India will not tolerate the Ugrabadi you spoke about, the terrorists, any restart. That our ban on cross-border terrorism extends to the west, to the east, to all countries. And this is the situation that we are watching very carefully. We will not tolerate any. We know that Asim Munir has already given in the call saying the next attack will come from the east. We know that Mohammed Yunus, when he went to China, spoke to Chinese businessmen and said that, oh, come to Bangladesh. We are the only ones who have access to Northeast India. We'll take you there. So these intentions and statements by the individuals who are in power, who are behind those in power, and those who are behind those who are behind. So all the chain of command is very clear that they want to have. They are provoking India into some kind of active response, but India is exercising the strategic restraint deliberately. We will not get provoked, but we know what is going on, and you can rest assured that there will be an appropriate response.
I have a question, Veena, and Dastagir as well, if you can supplement. But Veena, so far, like Dr. Yunus really, and his like some big powerful groups patronizing him and then supporting him, right? And then really meticulously design and Dr. Yunus, whatever he wants so far, he did that. Till today, election is going on. So India has called for an inclusive election, but it still seems measured. Do you think this reflects strategic caution, diplomatic balancing, or a long-term policy? And if the election takes place like this, the way they are doing this today, like Jamaat and BNP, maybe Jamaat will be in like either way, right? So, but like in this election, under a controversial government will form, right? And then India always say that they will sit with the elected government, but this government without Awami League, without 14% alliance parties, and then all of them without them. This like how New Delhi will like what will be their diplomatic relation and engagement with this government? What do you think, Bina?
I think that government of India is watching the situation very carefully. We
Okay.
definitely want an inclusive election, and we've said so clearly.
Yes.
Unequivocally, we have said that we want an inclusive election. Now that this election is going on, let us see how it works out. And I think that every option is there with the government of India, and the option is always to see whether this inclusivity is going to be accepted, or they're going to, there are all kinds of formula being talked about when the inclusivity will return, etc. We're just waiting and watching, because I tell you that those very forces, we must remember that the people who are in power today, this was the losing side of 1971.
Yes.
All the people who are in power today, they are the ones who lost in 1971. Whether it is Jamaat-e-Islami, whether it is Pakistan, whether it is Western Bangladesh, they were on the losing side. And now they think that they have come back to power, and they're trying to create the pre-1971 situation in Bangladesh. So India is not going to be provoked at the wrong time.
Okay.
India is watching to see what is the situation. We are very aware of all the statements everybody is making. We are very aware of the security situation, whether it is the Northeast, whether it is our own borders. We are very aware and deeply conscious of this situation. And I can assure you that we will not rest until you get inclusivity back into Bangladesh. What the outcome of the election will be, what the government of India will respond, we will see, depending on how these elections go, whether it's smooth and fair sailing. At the moment, of course, we know that there is complete chaos because yes, even there.
Don't you think it's getting late? Because India is watching. People are, but because people in Bangladesh are suffering, and then because Michael Rubin also said that Jamaat Islam is a terrorist organization, and there is a news came up from Washington Post that U.S. backing up Jamaat Islami, right? It is like serious situation, right? Don't you think that India is taking too much time, or I don't know actually how? Mm,
Let me say this question of the USA backing Jamaat-e-Islami. I
yes,
know, yes, when the transcript of that conversation in Dhaka,
conversation. Remember? Yeah.
diplomat, it was carried in the Washington Post. There was
Yes.
just one message from that transcript. It was that America is supporting Jamaat-e-Islami. But I must tell you that for me, that's nothing new. When I was in Bangladesh way back, and when there was the Begum Khalda Zia Jamaat-e-Islami coalition government, the Americans were openly saying we consider Jamaat to be a moderate democratic Islamic party.
That is
This is,
correct. I remember
yes,
that.
Yes.
they've been
Yes.
saying that for 20 years. So it's like as if after 20 years they have now, they're sort of trying to get their wish fulfilled. Let us see what happens in the elections. So, but I think, in my view, this is not sustainable as far as the people of Bangladesh are concerned. We
Okay.
all know that Bangladesh people have never got, the Jamaat-e-Islami has never got more than maximum 12.2% in one election, but in all the others less than 10%. Maybe 4%, 5%, and so on. So it is clear from that the Jamaat-e-Islami is not accepted by the people of Bangladesh as either a democratic party or a party that anybody in Bangladesh wants to have in power. So I think that that is another point that is very important for the Bangladesh people and for the government of India. What is their view going to be? I do not think that, as far as the Bangladesh people are concerned, they're going to accept any gerrymandering of the election results. They're not going to accept that. We've seen in the past what happened. We saw it happen in 96. We saw it happen, even in 2006. I remember when, there was a very carefully built up caretaker government system, but then it was Begum Khalda Zia who destroyed the system. She changed the retirement age of judges, and with that, she wanted
Yes.
to somebody whom she wanted would become the head of the caretaker government, and that collapsed the whole system, and there was riots, etc. And we know, of course, what happened. The 2-year army-backed caretaker rule was there. So this has been a part of the response of the people of Bangladesh, and that is the most important. I think that we have to remember that for the longest of time, the Jamaat-e-Islami was not allowed to register or take part in elections because they refused to accept the constitution of Bangladesh.
Exactly. That's what
And exactly, and that was why, because they refused to accept the constitution. So how can you be a political party in a country where you refuse to accept the constitution?
and there is a contradicting, right?
Sorry?
Our constitution and then
Yes,
their constitution, Jamaat Islami, it's contradicting because it's contradictory, right?
yes, absolutely. That is the basic one. But then now you see that there's a referendum. So this is the point, that the referendum is taking place based on, again, a completely unconstitutional exercise. All July National Charter of 2025 is drawn up. And this referendum, which is not allowed in the Bangladesh constitution, is asking a set of some 84 or something complex questions based on the 4 headings. And you have to give a single yes or no answer. Nobody in the world would have heard of a referendum like that, where you have to, one yes or no answer on 84 questions, subdivided into 4 sectors. And the most significant thing that I saw, in the reports from Bangladesh, that the ballot paper for the referendum has no numbers. There is no number.
There is no number. There is no serial number. There is no agent. There is nobody to control.
And then there is we'll see. We'll watch a video. The Dastagir has one video that how they are doing the voting, casting the vote.
Okay.
আরেকটা জিনিস নাম্বারে
আচ্ছা আপনি বলেন আপনার কেন এটা
আমি 3টা আগে রাখছি কাজে লাগানোর জন্য, যেখানে কাজে লোকের চাপ বেশি, সেক্ষেত্রে 3টা আমি আগে রেকর্ড রাখছি। এর আগে যিনি আসছেন,
হ্যাঁ
16 নাম্বার আমি দেখাইছি।
আচ্ছা আঙ্গুলের ছাপ দিয়ে উনি নিয়ে যাবেন।
আঙ্গুলের ছাপটা উনি 17 দিয়েছেন
বলে 17 তে দিয়েছেন,
কারণ এটা কাটা ছিল।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
সেই জন্য ওনাকে বলা পরে উনি আবার এটা দিয়েছেন।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
যে যেটা করে গেছে এটা হচ্ছে এই গোলটা হচ্ছে।
আপনি বলেন এবার, আপনি বলেন এটা কেন?
Miss Lopa?
Yes, what's going there?
Yeah. Oh, you asked me to translate it. Thank
Translated,
you.
yeah.
This
So
is
that
that
Veena
even
will understand.
this this video is from last night, I think. They are already casted their vote. I mean, a presiding officer or whoever officer is doing his job by himself without even being in daytime. So some video man or somebody, some journalist, they were asking what you are doing. And he was explaining, defending that, no, I'm just expediting the system, election. So I'm just making ready that when people will come, they will just seal it and put in the box. But this is not the story. If Ms. Lopa let me tell some, I have some question from our audience. Here is one from Redzakul Haidar Chaudhary to our ambassador guest. Ms. Sikri, do India consider moderate Islamic party, I mean Jamaat Islami? If you want to answer that.
We are very, very clear about the role of Jamaat-e-Islami in the 1971 Liberation War. We are very, very clear of the statements they have made. We are absolutely appalled at the statements made by the Amir of Jamaat-e-Islami against women. I mean, the words that he has used to describe women, the women are the most dynamic section of society in Bangladesh. They are, fiercely entrepreneurial, they're dynamic, and they respect and want their independence. Millions of women are working in the garment factories, and these women have been affected because when Muhammad Yunus chose to destroy the economic trading pattern between India and Bangladesh, which is mutually beneficial, the raw material supply shut down, and hundreds of factories have closed down, and hundreds of thousands of women have become unemployed. So I think we are very, very clear what the Jamaat-e-Islami is all about. We are aware that they are making some general statements about, India in the last couple of days, but we know that saying a statement and putting it in practice are two very different things, So we have no illusions about Jamaat-e-Islami at all. And I think that this will reflect itself very soon.
Dastagir, I just saw a question. It's a very good question for Veena. Do you want to show it again? Veena ma'am, I have a question. After the election, if Jamaat own the devil Yunus stay power and become president, what is the political view would be India's point of views? Rangomoncho Panta.
Yeah, I think the referendum is not a constitutional process. It is a process which is designed to change the constitution of Bangladesh, but there is no absolute precedent for that. And the discussion now is that when there's definitely going to be a yes for the referendum because the votes will just have to be stamped. There are no numbers to any of the ballot papers. There's no sanctity to the referendum, either in terms of procedure or in terms of constitution. So now, if you do have a declared yes answer, then the discussion is that the people who are elected, they will form some kind of constituent assembly, etc., etc. Are these matters going to be accepted? And I think that, I think that it cannot be accepted. I do not see anybody in Bangladesh accepting the situation because Bangladesh has always fought for free, fair, and participatory elections. And only such elections will be credible. This kind of situation of having, the so-called referendum and the so-called success in the referendum and changing the constitution through that, I don't think it's a valid process at all. It will not be held valid anywhere. So I think the first I would like to see is what the people of Bangladesh will respond on that. 40% of the people of Bangladesh are Awami leaguers. Are they going to accept this? I think that's the first question that we would like to know the answer to. India will be very reluctant, in my view, to accept any such fake system, foisted on the people of Bangladesh.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add a little bit here that let's say turnout figures alone do not determine legitimacy. Definitely not. I mean, the irregularity, absence of Bangladesh Awami League, and most of the voters, 40% voters, their choice, they cannot choose their own party. Only a peaceful turnout figures, they will show even, I think, around 60 to 75%. This cannot determine that this election is legitimate. What I want to say also, that international players like India, USA, even European Union, UK, Australia, Canada last week, from Loba, from your country, that everybody showed their concern that we want an inclusive election, including all parties, except America, five senator, congressmen. No other mentioned about Awami League, but from America they mentioned about Awami League, and they told also in plural Awami Leagues and other parties, like 14 party. They have jot in, as we say in Bangla. So without this whole political, a big spectrum there missing, this election is already, I am repeating the same thing, this already is it is not a legitimate election, it is not an inclusive election, and the whatever results come out, immediately India, this is my opinion, India will work with them to show them that no, you have to go back to the normal process of this democratic system, as we are the largest democratic system in the world. Thank you.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Certainly, yes, that is correct. We will support this.
Veena, the right now Bangladesh is very unstable situation in Bangladesh. Like that people not only alliance with Awami League supporter, like who are freedom fighters, journalists, they're on the run, behind the bar. You know that, right? Everything. It is
including all my senior journalists.
senior journalists,
Yes.
the fellow journalists, they are in the prison behind them, and they're hiding this and that. The situation is very, very bad. So I was just going through one of your article. So I got a question from there. Given the close contest between BNP and Jamaat Islam, and the critical role of undecided voters, especially women, do you believe the February 12 election can produce a genuinely stable government, or is Bangladesh likely to face further political unrest regardless of the result? What do you think, Veena? What we are heading towards?
I think there will be further political unrest because the instability will continue. The result will not be accepted. I do not think under any circumstances that you will get a genuine result. We've already seen, the referendum itself, and Mohammed Yunus is campaigning for the referendum as though he's asking the government people to vote, and even the election commission has opposed to that. So I think the first thing is to understand that this is not a free, fair and inclusive election, and the results are not going to be either free or fair or inclusive. There is a focus now on getting, to sort of finesse the question of a free, fair election. They're getting a national unity government. That is one of the points in focus, and this is what they call the June 25 formula. When Mohammed Yunus went to London and met Tariq Rahman there, and there they agreed that okay, let's have a national unity government, and Mohammed Yunus will be the president, and Tariq Rahman will be the prime minister, and deputy prime minister will be the Amir. So this is the kind of talk that there is. But I don't know. Again, my big question is that what the people of Bangladesh want? Is that what they say, that they're going to change the entire constitution, without any participation of a big section of the population? How can you leave out a big section of the population like that? I know there is pressure on the minorities, on the Awami League to go and vote, even though there is a no vote campaign, and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said that Awami League should boycott the election. But there is pressure. There is pressure in terms of money.
But they are pressurizing people.
Yes, very strongly. And
very strongly. Minority, that situation in minority situation in Bangladesh, that, right?
So they want to declare that the participation is more than the 24 election, and because of that, this is now a free and fair and inclusive election. So this is the whole wrong definition that they are bringing out, and I don't think that should be accepted because it will lead to further problems in the future. Once you're shutting down democracy like this in Bangladesh, and people know in the last 18 months what has happened in terms of democracy, then you can say that the democracy chapter is closed for Bangladesh. Is that what the people of Bangladesh want? I think there should be, really a big shout out from the international community in support of the people of Bangladesh, because they've always expressed themselves very strongly in favor of a full democracy and participatory elections. So I think again and again, I'm coming back to this point that we have to continue this discussion, to continue our taking this up globally and nationally, giving the message to the people of Bangladesh that this is the end of your freedom. I mean, this is going to be absolutely the end of your freedom, and we don't know what kinds of giveaways the Yunus regime has given to countries like USA with whom they have a non-disclosure agreement. So what is going to happen? What is the quid pro quo? All that is completely up in the air. It's completely under a question mark, and I think that there should be a great awareness of this within Bangladesh and outside.
Dasuki, do you want to ask anything, Veena? Otherwise, we're gonna.
I'm very satisfied with the answer that we got. Definitely, we Bangladesh and India. This is historically we are, connected. Even in White House, Donald Trump was mentioning my friend Prime Minister Modi. He will take care about, or he will has the everything in his hand because they have 1,000 years relationship. So this is not only political matter. This is matter of Indo-Pacific zone, and even though China has a good relation, always had a good relation with BNP, even some of our spectators are sending question here that if what happened if future as people are thinking that maybe Tariq Zia would be the next prime minister with this same election, and what will happen if Tariq Zia become prime minister and he give lease, Bay of Bengal to China? And this is absurd thing, but still it's a question to us, or a question to our Ambassador Veena, that what would happen if the new so-called elected government work together or towards the Chinese interest in Bay of Bengal? What would India?
Look, I think we have to be very clear that if there's one thing America is opposing in Bangladesh, it is their continued cooperation with China. So I think that
exactly.
Yes, there have been already statements by America. It's even in the trade deal, there is some mention of that. And I can see that the Chinese are not happy at all, because the Chinese ambassador or the Chinese spokesperson of their embassy in Bangladesh has made a strong statement saying, no, America can't say this, etc., etc. So I can see this clash building up. There is a clash already building up. So I think again, are the people of Bangladesh wanting to just give up on their friendship with China? Are they going to follow the American path? These are very important questions that first and foremost, I want to see what the people of Bangladesh think about it. Because this is it. There's such a close economic relationship between China and Bangladesh, between India and Bangladesh, and I can certainly speak for the India-Bangladesh relationship that it has brought a great benefit to the people of Bangladesh. They had jobs, even on the connectivity. All the logistics companies were the Bangladeshi companies. They've got employment, they got prosperity, they got growth. Bangladesh ready-made garments were competitive in the whole world because what they get from India is the lowest price in the world, plus 4 days, 5 days, everything is already there, the raw material. Now, if you're required to buy from America, it is going to be double the price. It'll take 3 weeks, 4 weeks for it to arrive. Where are you going to be competitive? I mean, I think for the Indian economy, the same cotton yarn that went to Bangladesh will now be used in India, and the factories in Tirupur, Surat, and other places will grow. So, it is for Bangladesh to understand this, And I really would like that this message that is there in this, in what we are discussing today, goes out to everybody, to all of you living outside Bangladesh. I think the Bangladesh diaspora, the Bangladesh expatriate community, has done a tremendous job in creating awareness. And that has to be continued. It's not, point out whatever happens in the election today, point out the difficulties, point out what it is and what it means for the people of Bangladesh. I think all of you, I mean, what kind of regime do you want in Bangladesh, And I think the Awami League is too big a force. It's not the Awami League as the political party. It is the values of the liberation war. There are many, many people in Bangladesh who may not be Awami Leaguers, who may actually be opposed to the Awami League, but they support the values of the liberation war. So we are looking at a group of people which is at least 50% of Bangladesh. And for India, that's a very important constituency because we have the exactly same thoughts. We are looking at the values of the liberation war, the democracy, the secularism, the nationalism, the social justice. These are the values that the people of Bangladesh and India share. So, and we are going to continuously share those values, and we know that more than half the people of Bangladesh share the values. And I hope that this half will give strength for the return of democracy to Bangladesh.
Thank you, Veena. My last question is to you. What is the single most important factor that will determine Bangladesh's political future after this election? What do you think?
Very clearly, the people of Bangladesh. Are they going to accept the election results? Is the violence and instability going to continue? If you try to suppress the voice of the people of Bangladesh, it will not be possible because they will always come out and express themselves. So I think, again, the people of Bangladesh have been fighting for their independence for a long time. It's not just the success of the liberation war. It predates the liberation war. It predates. Look at the language rights. And, people fought for the Bengali language. And in this election, I've seen campaigning in Urdu. I don't know what it means.
Yes, it was so devastating because this month is our,
language day.
Language, yes.
Yes, and this is what I'm seeing. But
there is no book fair, nothing.
Nothing. No boy mela, no nothing. I mean, it's amazing. So I think that, again, it's again and again, the younger people of Bangladesh who were not even maybe born in 1971, but they are there today as the future of the country. What is their view going to be? And I think that's what I'm really waiting for to see. That is the most important choice. Yes.
Thank you, Veena. Do you want to add anything, Dastagir? Otherwise,
Thank you so much. I want to thank Ambassador Veena Sikri be joining us today. I'm from Washington, D.C. Always with you. Jai Bangla.
Thank you, Ambassador Sikri, Veena. Thank you, audience and viewers. Take care. We'll talk. Maybe future with we'll bring new guest. Take care. Be safe.
If you allow, I would just to say to our viewers that please share our this live because these are very important question asked and answer. Some of them, this question are really attached to the situation in Bangladesh today and historically started from 1971. So thank you so much.